Now, severe tropical storm Kristine is nearing landfall into northeastern Luzon. This after it brought significant impacts across southeastern Luzon. These images out of Naga City where just catastrophic flooding taking place. Whole towns and neighborhoods submerged due to heavy rainfall from this storm system, which added up over a half a meter in spots. To put that in perspective, during Ondoy into the Manila area, they got less rainfall during that specific storm, which caused catastrophic flooding, than what we've seen out here in parts of the Bicol region. So it is an ongoing serious situation there, but let's just continue to track our storm because it's not over yet. You can see that convection here with the low level center actually starting to get a little bit of a wrap up here as it nears the coast, and you can see that here on microwave imagery. We haven't really had much around that low level center of circulation, but now just prior to landfall, you can kind of see what would appear to be a bit of an eye wall trying to develop. See it right there just off of Casiguran. That is where you would be seeing damaging winds around the core of this storm system. Now, unfortunately for some of these coastal communities, you don't got much protection. This is going to come on shore, and it does look like it is going to be at this severe tropical storm status with those winds gusting over 100 kilometers per hour. But as we all know, when these storms do make landfall in this particular area, the Sierra Madre Mountains can rip them apart and hopefully weakens this as it traverses into the Cagayan Valley. But for places like Carino over towards eastern Isabela, you are going to get the full brunt of this, but there is signal force warning 3 issued across a good swath of north central Luzon, I guess, from basically the Maga Dam extending north all the way out towards Cagayan province. You're under a signal force 3, extending out towards regions 1, so local Sur, La Union, Pangasinan, all under signal force 3 on top of that, and even to the higher elevations, of course, over towards Baguio, you're under that too, which Baguio could be looking at some pretty significant heavy rainfall and that chance of flooding just because of the moisture getting squeezed out there into higher elevations. So here's a look at the consensus from multi-agencies. So we're talking about Bagasa, JMA, Taiwan, HKL, JTWC, all expecting that landfall here as we go ahead through our evening into Isabela province, and then traversing just around Iligan City, just south of, just right around Quayan actually, and then heading over the mountains there, passing directly over Baguio, and re-emerging into the West Philippine Sea. We take a look at our satellite imagery, give you an idea of where this storm system is at this time. And yeah, there's your low level center. You can see in the last few frames we're starting to get that convection flaring up closer to the low level center, and then you can see the heavy rainfall extending well down towards the south, starting to finally see improvements for parts of the Bicol region, thankfully. But boy, it's been a long couple of days out there for you, friends. Manila also going to be getting some of these heavy rainfall as we go ahead through Thursday too, as that moisture continues to wrap around on the southern periphery of this. So the NCR, Subic Bay, even over towards places like Angeles, you're not missing out on this either, despite the fact that that low level centers towards the north. You're kind of going to get these classic tropical storm rain bands feeding in on the southern periphery of our storm. You see that little nudge towards the south too. You might be curious what's going on with that. A few people have actually asked me about that. That is the guidance responding to the fact that this will slam into those mountains and kind of friction. The storm always wants to go to the path of least resistance, so the low level center is going to kind of try to nudge around the mountains here and likely re-emerge over towards Pangasinan. So a really good analysis from JMA to kind of point that out, that this probably is going to edge down towards the south and come out near the coast where the mountains and are a little bit less absent. Pangasinan mainly a flat kind of valley there in between the mountains towards the south, and and off here towards the north. So that's what the guidance is kind of picking up on there, is that little bit of a nudge. But with that said, once this starts getting shredded over the hills here, the winds, of course, enough to knock down trees, power outages, not enough to blow away cars and toss them down the street or anything like that. But the main issue is going to be that rainfall. Boy, it's going to get squeezed out here. The Cagayan River is something I am a little bit concerned about, just because of that heavy rain into the mountains, draining into places like the Magat River, the Cagayan River. We're going to be looking at the Carino River here on the western side of Iligan. That's going to be pushed up there, and there is flood control in place, but it could be tested here just a bit with this storm system. Now, unlike storm systems in the past, and unlike what we've seen here, even towards southeastern Luzon into the Bicol region, look at this. By Thursday night, this storm system is going to be moving away, which means it's a lot of rain in a short period of time, but hopefully it doesn't linger, and we start to get dry air filtering in on the backside of our storm system. So that's the hope, is that this gets there and then it gets out and it gets done, and it gets a move on off here towards the west. So you start to see those improving conditions here by Friday for a good portion of the Philippines. But at least for Thursday, everybody's getting in on the rainfall from Mindanao to Palawan, back, of course, to Manila. But the heaviest of it, as we fly off here towards the north, is going to be from Subic north into Pangasinan, extending across the Cagayan Valley. That's where you're going to be looking at the chances of, some spots could see as much as 200 to 300 millimeters of additional rainfall on top of what we've already seen. And you can see the low-level center, it's passing just like this, but we got that moisture and some of the heaviest stuff just towards the south, and that onshore flow really is going to hit some of these coastal areas pretty heavy. So, and even look down towards the south into western Visayas, you also still have that onshore flow impacting some of you out here too. So still a wide range of impacts continuing to be had with this storm system. Of course, closer to the center though, it is about those winds, but the mountains here across the Sierra Madre is getting in on that precipitation. Then as we go ahead through Wednesday overnight into Thursday morning, all of the Cagayan Valley, and then even extending off here towards the west coast as our storm finally pulls away. But we see here Friday into Saturday some vastly improving conditions here in your forecast. So yeah, of course, continuing to track this storm system with you, and we're also going to continue to monitor the one behind it. But my hope and goes out to everybody being impacted by this, especially those towards the Bicol region. Boy, but this ain't over yet. So make sure you continue to check back in with those official sources. Plus, check out Western Pacific Weather on Facebook. Lex, Matthew, Marcos, a lot of you have been doing some fantastic jobs updating this storm, and they put out new information every 20 to 30 minutes. So if you're just following these videos, I appreciate it. Make sure you check out that on Facebook, Western Pacific Weather, because there's a lot more additional information, just quick snippets, especially for those with slow internet, might be impacted by the storm. That might be the best way for you to kind of get that information is on there. But if you want to support the channel and everything we do here, please do also check out our Patreon. Link is down below. All right, that's a look at what's happening out here right now. I hope everyone's staying safe, because storm, albeit it ain't over yet. We got landfall coming up here, so we're of course going to continue to monitor it. I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta.